You gotta pay. It's pay to play. There's no way around it. You either gotta do local service ads or good old fashioned Google ads. Google has monopolized the top of the search engine result page with paid advertisements.
Welcome to another Google Business Buzz. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Chris, my fellow OMGer and the Director of Sales. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing great. You guys might notice our images and our audio is clear, so we're back with better equipment and here to give you some good content.
100%. Yes, we made some updates and upgrades, and the resolution should be better, the quality of the audio should be better, and here we're going to be talking about the most important thing on our minds, which is getting on the top of Google, right, Chris? Like that's how we make our living. We help businesses get up on top of search, and with search changing, we're keeping up with that. We have to keep up with that. We're trying to educate our audience on that as well. So, Chris, how do we get people up on the top spots nowadays?
You gotta pay. It's pay to play. There's no way around it. You either gotta do local service ads or good old fashioned Google ads. Um, Google has monopolized the top of the search engine result page with paid advertisements.
That is true. That is true. The top of the search is paid ads, and we can't, shy away from that. We have to pay to play, like you said, and business owners need to know, need to understand this. SEO and local SEO still have their place. It's very important to remain on those top spots on that Google local pack and Google Maps. It does feed into local service ads, but having to allocate a budget and pay for leads nowadays is the only way to do it. And if you're a business owner in 2026 and you've noticed calls have reduced, you've noticed that your Google business profile, your Google My Business page isn't doing as well as it once was, it's most likely because of this. Chris, tell them how the SERP has changed, especially with that local pack.
I mean, the search engine result page. I mean, I remember when I first started here about 7 years ago, it was predominantly, just regular Google ads sometimes. Many people weren't doing Google ads. And then you had your organic results after. I mean, now, of course, you have the AI overview. You got your local service ads. You got your Google ads. You got your map ads. And you got your organic results. You got the organic websites. And then after that, you got some more ads. I think the one consistent that's held true this entire time is ads, and their place on the search engine result page. They're always going to be there, and it's not just only on the search engine result page. Obviously, you have your display ads. You have your email ads. Google's network is vast, and if there's somewhere to place an ad for a business, they're going to do it.
Completely. And with Performance Max, like they're using up all of their network, the YouTube, their Gmails, like you said, their extended network with search partners. So it's absolutely essential to have a presence nowadays on Google Ads. And when I started here, we almost never saw Google Ads. And me as a marketer, I mean, I just pass by the Google Ads always. So I go straight to organic results. I like looking at reviews. But with certain industries, right? Like emergency industries, plumbers, towers, these are search queries that people are looking for to get services now, right? They aren't trying to look at reviews or even visiting websites. They're trying to call somebody and get them out there to help. And you have to be up on top to be considered to get those phone calls. Last month we talked a little bit about how LSA and AI help consumers get a bunch of quotes for the same service from different service providers at once. Now, I know that that doesn't seem like it's good or useful for business owners, but we know it's made for the consumer. How would you approach this as a business owner or even as a person speaking to business owners every day?
Approach the need to advertise.
Now, the need to handle the leads differently now that they come in for multiple businesses. It's not just your lead.
With urgency. I mean, look, I'm our sales director. I manage a team of, I think there's 18 sales reps here at OMG. And, we generate our leads through paid ads, social search, and, we need these leads called expeditiously, as they come in while they're hot. And you got to have some salesmanship, and particularly as it relates to like our space. I mean, there's 10 million marketing companies, right? So if somebody is inquiring for marketing, one, we're probably not the only people that they've inquired with, and two, if they interact with our ad on Facebook, or they're going to or maybe even our Google ad, they're going to start to see more ads related to marketing agencies. So it's important to put a little use your salesmanship and do what you can to close the lead, the opportunity that you have. And that's imperative, for these business owners, because if Google is basically shopping a lead around to a whole bunch of different service providers, and it's important for you to take advantage of that opportunity that you just paid for and do what you can to close the deal. You got to portray value. Price sometimes is an issue. Timing's an issue. So, I mean, you just got to handle these leads quickly and put your sales hat on and try to turn them into a customer.
100%. Put that sales hat on. The lead is super crucial to nurture, right? You have to nurture that lead. And the way you nurture it is by being extremely nice, having a script, giving out price ranges when you're requested that. I know a lot of our clients aren't comfortable, giving out a price for a service, and I understand that, right? Not every tow recovery is the same, or not every plumbing job is the same, not every air conditioning repair is the same. So you have to see it before you actually give a quote. That being said, there has to be a starting range so that consumers can feel comfortable with, even engaging with that business, especially in this world where, like you said, the lead is being shopped around. You have to stand out, and customer service is the number one standout factor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, a little sales 101 here. I mean, we're doing this here in a pretty large scale. We're getting hundreds of inquiries a day amongst our team of 18 plus closers and even more appointment setters. And having sales applies to everything. At any point you're selling. So having a script is important. Knowing what you're going to say so you're not fumbling over your words. Obviously, being honest. You got to be honest. You got to try to be helpful. But you have to commit to trying to convert all the opportunities that you get. And Google Ads, you're paying for every single one. If somebody's searching for whatever, a tow truck or a bathroom remodel, their bathroom remodels in particular, you put your bid in to try to get that job, that project from somebody. But even when it comes to like, the tow truck or a plumber, people may shop around. So, you just got to, grab the bull by the horns. You just, put the sales hat on, use a little script, and do what you can to try to convert that opportunity that you paid for.
100%. Yeah, you did pay for it, and it's that money isn't going back into your account. So you might as well do your best to try and close it. And if you don't close it in that first shot, give them a good customer experience, and they'll come back after shopping around.
I'd like to. I don't know if we're allowed to go off script here. We're not using a script, by the way, guys. I can't read very fast. We use a little bit of an outline, but I'd like to talk a little bit about using. We're talking about Google Ads here and PPC, using that to target more specific kinds of searches, like things that have adjectives attached to them. Is that okay if I
Yeah, for
take
sure.
us
Let's
that
do
way?
it. Let's do
You
it.
know, I love LSA. I'm like an LSA zealot. I think LSA is the bomb, but it's not the greatest for everybody. Here we work with thousands of clients, thousands of businesses across every vertical that you could think of. And if you really specify on something, you're going to have to use PPC and LSA instead of LSA, because LSA likely isn't going to get you the opportunities that you want. I have several examples off the top of my head, and they all tell the same story. I have a guy in Southern California, Rep Solar, and they do industrial and commercial solar panels. Sure, can you run LSA for solar panels and get good solar leads? Absolutely. But I'm gonna call you to come out to my house. I'm not gonna call you to come do my 100,000 square foot warehouse. So you have to use PPC for those adjectives, those industrial, those commercial adjectives. We signed up the other day a refrigerator repair guy, but he only does Sub-Zero refrigerators, from like MTV Cribs. Hey,
Mhm.
this is what's in my Sub-Zero fridge. He only does those. So LSA is just going to get him, whoever's looking for a refrigerator repair, come fix my Samsung, my Whirlpool, whatever. But with PPC, he's going to be able to use the keywords to specify that adjective, that specific Sub-Zero refrigerator repair, and he's going to be able to get the kinds of leads that he wants. I really love PPC for that, for
Mhm.
attracting those very specific kinds of jobs. We have a very large towing customer in the Midwest, a huge company. And they're doing LSA with a significant spend. However, they have a desire to specifically obtain, heavy duty towing jobs and jobs that they can use their what's known as a rotator truck, which is it's over $1 million tow truck that they're able to move big stuff with. And in addition to LSA, we're going to be using PPC, regular Google Ads, to target those specific keywords that they may show up for, their local service ads may show up for, but the Google Ads is going to ensure that we're showing up for those very specific services, and furthermore, that the ad communicates to the end user exactly what that service that they're advertising for is.
Great points. Those are the exact match, right? The way that you get these niche searches is Google Ads. On LSA, you can't really filter that out. You can't make sure that you're only getting Sub-Zero fridges or you're only getting rotator jobs. A rotator is like a mobile crane, by the way. And it's like, yeah, you need LSA for the residential, for the everyday motorist, but you need the niche, the very niche, the high spenders. That's where Google Ads comes in. I was working with our team here earlier today and looking at how they go into the accounts and they optimize the demographics and by interests, right? So if for a moving company, they're looking at people that are about to move, people that have just purchased homes, people that are about to go off to college, and they add those interests, right? So to make it more pertinent to the actual company and to the people, to the user that doesn't want to see an ad that isn't relevant to them. So it's very important to keep that in mind. It in my mind, if you're serious about being a local business, you have to be on all of these platforms. You have to be on LSA, you have to be on Google Ads, and you have to be among the top Google business profiles, right? To be able to have the real estate to capture the leads that you need.
Well, and think about if you're somebody with a serious ad spend, like you're really aggressive with your digital marketing. I mean, you're going to want to, dominate the search engine result page. And obviously, LSA occupies that large portion. You have good SEO, you're going to be in the AI overview, and you're going to be in the organic results. But then think about like a nice, well-written Google ad with all those extensions and just how large that ad appears on the search engine result page. It's just going to help you double and triple down on the efforts that you're putting forth. And frankly, as a guy that loves LSA, the clicks from Google Ads are typically considerably more affordable than the calls from LSA. So it's potential. There's potential for you to get an opportunity from Google Ads for what may be a high dollar job that you're actually paying less than you would to get that same job via LSA.
Very true. Very true. There's so many opportunities on Google Ads that, allow you to shift your budget and to see different results with different campaign types, right? So different goals. So that's a great point. Going back to how important it is to, for local businesses, especially that want to dominate, like you said, that SERP in their local area. It's if you just pull out your phone and do a search in your area for movers or towers, you're going to see that on that local pack where you used to be able to find phone call buttons, website buttons, direction request buttons, you're not seeing that anymore. The only people that get that are people that are advertising. So these opportunities are going only to people that are spending money with Google. And if you haven't noticed phone calls or direction requests or website visits reducing, then it probably hasn't impacted you yet, but it will. So get ready and get on Google Ads ASAP.
Well, you said something earlier about how as a marketer you typically scroll past the sponsored results, and quite frankly, I do the same thing. However, I'm not a psychology major or anything, but human nature is people tend to click on the first result they see. People want instant gratification. So, whether you are providing an emergency service or if you are doing major kitchen remodels, and that doesn't mean just because you're the first guy to get the click that you're going to get, the job, the kitchen remodeling job, but there's a good shot that you're going to get the first crack at it, and that gives you a leg up, that gives you an advantage. Shameless plug to our last episode, but I talked about getting my windows tinted, and when I looked for window tinting near me, the guy was running a map ad, and he was also number one organically in the map pack, and I called him. I called him based on his reviews, not because he was just the first guy. But you know what? My eyes certainly gravitated towards him because 4 out of 5 potential options were him. One being his paid ad, and the other being his Google Business profile. So even us elite marketers, sometimes we'll even our eyes will gravitate towards the very first thing that we see.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I've gotten got by ads before on Instagram, even like Google's search partners ads, on another platform. I've clicked on it, I've purchased, right? I just had a baby and we were looking at which formula is the best. Now I get so many ads for formula from all over the place. And it's perfect, right? That's exactly what I was looking for, and now I'm getting it served. And I think, that with the way that they use their platform, it's just obvious that you have to be on the Google advertising network to really get the most out of anything online. AI, even AI is impacting Google Ads. They have AI Search Max, which you can enable within your Performance Max and help you, optimize your campaigns. I would say be very careful with that. Every time Google rolls out something new, it's still iffy. It's very new, but it's coming, right? And what does that do? That just uses all of the data that AI has available to it. There's even ways that like you without knowing it, you click on a Google ad and they already have your email address, they have your phone number, they have your data so that they can tell if you didn't convert on that click, you can come back in another route, right, from your phone or from your laptop or from your tablet, and then you convert. Right? So they know all of this information about you. They know where you're going. They cookies never went away. They're still tracking us. And AI is just going to enhance that and make it better. But it's really, really important that if you are a small business, even a medium to big sized business that offers local services or local products, you have to be looking at Google Ads.
Yeah. And we talked about it on one of our previous episodes, but being that click to call Google ads are being deprecated, that means your ads are going to your website. You got to have a good website. You have to have like, you know, good landing pages that are built to convert the traffic that you're paying good money for. Good relevant landing pages, not just a pure splash page that directs people to buy or inquire, but something that's relevant generally to what you're advertising for. If you have an ad about metal roofing and metal roofs, and you're running it in South Florida where people may want metal roofs, it's important for that landing page to communicate and kind of echo and keep the continuity of what's in that ad, and have that splash page be about metal roofing. So it all ties together, right? That's something that's kind of something we always end up talking about everything, all forms of marketing in every episode, because it all ties together. It's all part of like a complete marketing plan for a small business. It's you don't want to do one thing. Now, starting out, depending on what your budget may be, you may need to start with one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as you progress and you start to mature in your marketing journey, then it's going to be important for you to do a variety of different avenues to advertise. Have a good website, do some social media ads, do LSA if it's applicable, do some PPC. You'll notice the conversions coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's eyes everywhere, and where eyes are, there are also dollar signs. So that's where we gotta get it. All right. Well, Chris, I think we did a bang up job here. We're just about 22 minutes, and if there's anything else that you'd like to cover, or else we'll say goodbye.
I think you ended it well. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you guys. Till next time.